Recent East Coast earthquakes. There is a mantle plume under the US Midcontinental rift, which is splitting northeast to northwest at the area of Lake Superior, Great Lakes, New Madrid seismic zone. We're going to take a look at the GPS, you can see it yourselves. But this is the recent activity that we've been having with the strange quakes around Lake Superior at the border of Ontario with the US. We've also had them just today, Lake Erie. We've had them in upstate New York, outside of Pittsburgh. We've even had Rhode Island, Plymouth, Massachusetts, all around the East Coast, and of course Canada as well, into the St. Lawrence seaways. Now, this is very strange. As far as the East Coast towards Maine, Rhode Island, Boston, that's where we had the seamount of the East Coast, which is extending into the Atlantic, northwest to southeast, and jutting itself into the area of Maine, New Hampshire. Maine, we know, has about 5 volcanoes. The little red square is where we've recently had tremendous amount of quakes in Canada. And this is an area where we have the faulty Ottawa Graben, as you see there, the Bonachere Graben, which is along those rivers which are fault lines. As we know, all rivers are fault lines. And this is the area right there, as you can see, that huge blue blotch going from northeast to northwest to southeast, basically in a line with the submarine volcanoes into the Atlantic coast, into the Atlantic Ocean. So the recent quakes, booms, shaking, lights coming from the ground towards the sky, the strange lights, the loud boom sounds, could be from all this activity. The Midcontinental rift. I think I've been saying it Mid-Atlantic, I'm sorry. It's the Midcontinental rift. I'm sorry about that. So this is also an area where 2 billion years ago, Lake Superior, the Superior area, was joined with the Wisconsin, the Wyoming, meaning around the Yellowstone type of situation, but it was split by the rift and is still splitting. Now, the Midcontinental rift, the Rove Sea, was a shallow inland sea which covered the region of Lake Superior of northern Ontario and Minnesota, and fine sediments settled over millions of years, covering up evidence of the meteorite impact. Okay, we're going to go into that in another video. Okay, we know that Canada has had tremendous amounts of meteorite impacts. They said that Hudson Bay was formed by a comet impact about 13,000 years ago. They originally thought that that hit the North America area. They found soot all over North America. Then they found that it hit the northern hemisphere. Then they found that this comet split in some big pieces and hit worldwide. But we've made a video on that, but I'll go into that again. But this area, northern Ontario, Minnesota, fine sediment settled over millions of years and covered up evidence of the meteorite impact. Finely layered shale rocks were formed, which are termed the Rove Formation, and these shales are the youngest rocks of the Animiki group. I'm reading from Lake Head, Canada. Now, the North America is breaking up. It's a story of volcanoes and earthquakes, of course. The Great Lakes Tectonic zone forms a gigantic rift system which very nearly split North America into 3 pieces. Now, we all know about the New Madrid seismic zone and the Real Foot Rift zone, which is basically New Madrid, which should be called New Madrid Rift Zone. So we all heard about New Madrid, but not many of us have heard about the Midcontinental rift. That stretches across Lake Superior near Marathon, Ontario, all the way across Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. Thus, the Kansas earthquakes. And we know Kansas has 3 volcanoes on the third of the northwestern part of the state, which are kimberlite volcanoes, which spit out diamonds, gems, and semi-precious stones in a very explosive manner. They're explosive volcanoes, diamond volcanoes. And that's Kansas, where they recently had large boom sounds and quaking, and the houses were shaking, and they thought it was supersonic jets, but there were no supersonic jets. The police was trying to research why all these booms and sounds. Well, it's probably earthquakes, probably the cracking underground, or maybe the volcanoes are trying to release some kind of gas, and these gas bubbles are miles big, and it's trying to come out. So, because the earth is growing, you know, it's always moving, especially now that we're in a solar minimum, we have more of an uptick in earthquake activities, volcanic activities, and as well extreme weather conditions. So, it's from Lake Superior, Ontario, all the way across Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. And gigantic volumes of basaltic lava poured out of the rift and can be seen today on the Keweenaw Peninsula. That's around what goes around an arc into this, Lake Superior from all these states that we said, Ile Royale, and the Black Bay Peninsula. And it's an area in what is now Canada, trying to separate from the continental crust in the United States. A 2,000 kilometer long rift valley was produced. Now, lavas fill the Lake Superior Rift Valley, the Keweenaw structure. The Midcontinental Rift formed the Lake Superior Basin as continents tried to split into pieces. All right, so the Midcontinental Rift formed the basin. The younger sedimentary rock filled into the top of the volcanic rocks as the mountains eroded and rivers flowed into the rift basin. Lake Nipigon, with its towering mesas, forms the third arm of the rift. And we have the diagrams here showing us what the Rift Valley looks like. Okay, so the top diagram shows us the ancient Rift Valley going left and right. A billion years ago, earth forces stretched the continent, the magma rising from the mantle plume from below, filling the lava, rivers carrying sand and gravel, lava eruptions happening, active earthquakes on the faults, of course. Okay, and then in the middle you have, so that's where the lava plume is, over the area of, what is today Lake Superior. The middle diagram shows us the Ice Age 2 million to 10,000 years ago, with glaciers scouring the soft rift rocks, which is of course in the middle of under the glacier, and the Canadian Shield that you have there towards the north of Lake Superior. And today the lake fills Lake Superior, Ile Royale you have there, Thunder Bay, Michigan, and Lake Superior, with what was the soft rift rocks from the area of where we had the magma rising from the mantle. And you have an overhead view of Lake Nipigon. You have Thunder Bay on the northwest shore, Sault Ste. Marie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, and you have the beautiful ancient Rift Valley going, making a type of a inverted U shape all along this area, and you'll see that that's where we have a lot of the quakes. That's where we have the Thunder Bay area above there is where we had the quakes today and a couple of days ago. Lake Erie down here on the 4 o'clock position of this third diagram in the bottom is where we had the Pittsburgh, today's quake of 2 magnitude, Lake Erie around there, of Cleveland, upstate New York. So all those there is where we're and the Ontario quakes is where we're having, is this area here, the ancient rift valley of the Midcontinental Rift. Modern day East Africa also has something similar to this, and of course East Africa has also volcanoes in that area where the rift is. And so do we have here as well. From Kansas up to Lake Superior, we have the mantle plume underneath there. Now Rift Valley is shaped lowland between several highlands, mountain ranges created by the action of the geologic rift or the fault. It's formed on a divergent plate boundary, crustal extensions separating parts of the surface, and subsequently further deepening by the forces of erosion. And when the tensions forces are strong enough to cause the plate to split apart, a center block drops between the two blocks at its flanks, forming a Graben. It's a depressed block of the crust of the planet bordered by parallel faults. So the drop of the center creates the nearly parallel steep dipping walls of a rift valley when it is new. So let's go to the areas of, so this is basically where you have that red arc there. Basically where we're having our earthquakes, which are west of the New Madrid seismic, New Madrid, Missouri. This is where we're also having an uptick of earthquakes. Okay. So let's go and see what the Geodesic is telling us as far as the movement here is concerned. Okay, so here we are at Seismo Berkeley, and this is our area here around Kansas, Oklahoma. Okay, this is the area basically. Okay, let's go in a little bit more. You can see there's Kansas right there. 3.3 a couple of days ago, 14 kilometers depth, and this is the area of the three ancient volcanoes, the kimberlite diamond explosive volcanoes right there. Okay, so sorry, let's pull that a little bit. Okay, that's it right there. It goes this way, the arc goes this way, and over here, this way, Lake Erie, down to Lake Erie. That's it right there. All this, and this is where we had our quake today. This is the area of upstate New York. Pennsylvania also had, and we go to the Canada earthquakes, and you'll see that they had their share as well. That's part of it right there, the Midcontinental Rift, right there, and turning over this way. Okay, and this is the area that we had of the area of towards Ontario, through Ontario and Quebec, and that's that was going northeast, northwest, southeast, heading into the area right here, where we have our East Coast Atlantic seamounts, which are 30 volcanoes there. Okay, now let's go to our Geodesic, so that we can see what's happening there. Here we are, and we'll see the movement. Let's take something out here so we can see. Is that a good one? Let's see. No, that's not too great. Okay, let's see the movement. This is no. This is Hudson Bay, James Bay. Okay. Let's take another one. Algonquin Province Park. Okay, this is nice. This is going, if it were going up, it would be going east. It's going down, so it's going west. This one's going up, so it's going north. This is going northwest, and it's a little bit inflating. So the Algonquin Park is going northwest, 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 and inflating. Let's take another one here. Should we take one around Springfield, Illinois, around here? How's that? Oh, no, you see that's moving every which way. Every which way. Springfield, Illinois. Let's take it on, sorry, Milwaukee. That's also not very good. And find something much stronger. Signals. Let's take this one. They're all weird. Okay, this is going west, and it's basically going sort of south and deflating. Let's take another one. That's better, okay. Okay, this is going west, and it's going north and deflating. See, they're very close, and they're going, it's going, where was it? I missed it. North, yes, it's going northwest, and it's deflating, northwest. Northwest, northwest, and if we take something more south, let's go this one. Okay, that's west, but it's every which way. Let's take Kansas. Kansas. Where is Kansas going? That's really something. That's really moving up and down. Basically, it's going west, and it's going, okay, this year it was going south, now it's going north. Amazing, amazing. Let's take one around Lake Erie. Around here, Cleveland. Okay. Cleveland is going northwest, and it's deflating. Northwest and deflating. Northwest and deflating. Let's take one around Ottawa and Montreal, where we had earthquakes lately. Okay, this is also going northwest and inflating. Let's take one at Quebec. It's going northwest, and it's really active. Inflating, deflating. It's up to the inflating now. Okay. It could be seasonal too because of rains, but that's really, really very much of an uptick. So I don't think it's all rain. Okay, let's go to Rhode Island. Shall we go to Rhode Island? Around Rhode Island. That's going northwest, and it's pretty steady. And let's go to Boston, where we had the Plymouth earthquake. That's going northwest as well. It's pretty steady. Okay, northwest. What about the northeast that we found? I think we found it near Lake Superior. Okay, Lake Superior, let's see. That's going every which way. Really, really, really moving. Really moving. Lake Superior. Let's find another one. Minnesota. Okay, that is going southwest. And it's really, what's this? It's really somehow inflating. Unless they adjusted the station, the machine, and it's just a glitch. Maybe we should just take it as being steady. Okay, that's going, instead of going northwest, it's going southwest. Okay, at Lake Superior, it's going southwest. This is going northwest. This is going southwest, as I was telling you, which shows that it's splitting there. Let's take another one. Hopefully this will be good. Yes, this again is going west, south. It's going southwest and deflating. So we can see that we have movement northwest here, southwest here. Yes? Let's go back to, let's go to Nebraska now. What's happening there? Okay, that's also going southwest and deflating. Okay, whereas the part here above the border is going northwest, these things here are going southwest. So you can see that there's a split. There's a split right there at the, where are we? Right here. This is different motion than this. This is going northwest and this is going southwest. Okay, so, and that's why I guess we're having our earthquakes. We have movement, we have inflation, we have deflation, and we have the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, Mid-Continental Ridge, sorry. I kept on thinking on the here, with the seamount. Okay, Mid-Continental Ridge is besides the fact that we have the New Madrid seismic zone. So these quakes here could be, of course, part of the Mid-Continental Ridge and the movement that we're having when we couple that with the earthquakes that we have in Canada. Here and here. We have to take into account what's happening in Canada, because if you don't have it, unfortunately, they should have the quakes here. Why don't they have the Canada quakes? They've got all the other countries on there. I don't understand why they don't put Canada up there as well. Maybe we should send them an email and say, please put Canada on your map. You know, there's only like, what, 100 quakes or so, 50 quakes. You could plot them as well. So that we can have a better idea of what's going on with our geology here. Okay, so that's perhaps the reason for the quakes, and the lights, and the boom sounds. From here, here, and here as well, of course. Okay, and you can feel them much more here. 10 times more than you can feel them on the West Coast. I'll leave links below for you for this. Please subscribe, ring the bell for updated videos, because a lot of people are telling me they're subscribed and they keep getting unsubscribed for some reason. And please share and please comment as well. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.